Hello and welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities Tarot. My name is Rochelle and I am here to do the weekly reading for the collective. And we've got another big week ahead because as I'm doing this, it's Monday. On Thursday, Mercury goes retrograde officially. And then we have 3 weeks of who knows. And that's both the joy and pain of Mercury in retrograde is it's sort of like what I talk about sometimes with the idea of going on an adventure, and we can lean forward with curiosity or we can shrink back in fear, because it's a mixed bag. We don't know what we're going to get. It's the unknown. And the thing with Mercury retrograde is it kind of, that energy brings in a lot of kind of disruption. Doesn't have to, but the idea is that we are meant to slow down. We are meant to, it's a time of kind of I always forget the re's. There's a bunch of words that start with re, but it's like rehash is coming to mind. We need to kind of reassess, like look at what we have been doing. Where are we now? This is not a time to push forward. This is a time to just like pause, basically, or take it very slowly, because when we try to rush too much, we're going to miss steps. There's also delays that come with Mercury retrograde, scheduling snafus, miscommunication, so it's really like a time for us to practice being intentional with how we show up, rather than just barreling forward as we normally do. So it's a really great opportunity. It's just not always comfortable. And so anyway, so we have that, and there's all kinds of other, I don't know, planetary stuff. Feel free to check out your local astrologer person. I have a few that I follow that I think are amazing. Chani, Molly McCord, Carrie Samuels. In fact, I just heard a really great conversation. Carrie Samuels had a conversation with her in-house astrologer, Johannes something. and they were talking about this whole idea of spiritual bypassing, which I thought was it was such a great conversation, because especially in the spiritual community, especially where we've been coming from, there's this whole idea of the 5D and love and light, and let's just like reach for the joy and the peace, which is all legitimate and good. And also, we are in a human body. We are meant to have a physical experience. We're not supposed to bypass our physical experience. And especially with what's going on in our world right now, and so much is being like, basically, like, systems are starting to crumble, structures. There's a whole like reworking that needs to happen. It's really, there are uncomfortable things that are happening in our world, in our own lives, and that it's important to look at that, to really spend time with our discomfort, because that's where the lesson is. That's where we can actually grow and become more fully embodied in who we're meant to be. And I heard another thing this weekend that's along these lines of like, we have our greatest, it was in the same interview where he was saying that we have, like, say our life lesson is to learn how to trust. This was his example. And so we are put in a family where, our ability to trust is really challenged, where, we have to like go down into the depths of hell, basically, so that we can learn to rise up, so that we can take that lesson and then apply it. It's like the whole idea of Chiron, the wounded healer. We have our wounds, we work through our wounds, and then we are able to turn around and help others because of what we have experienced. So, okay, Anyway, so all that, and I did put some prosperity dust on the table. I'm gonna get a couple of angel cards. Harmony. Oh, I love this. Yeah, coming together, singing joyfully, finding, it's like, oh, and that's another thing, is that there's a lot of like there's a lot of friction and divisiveness right now because of, kind of seemingly opposite ways of thinking. And so there's a lot of clashing of ideals and beliefs and all this values and all this. And it's like the idea is to try to find a commonality, to honor others and their differences, because there is a lesson in that as well. And in my opinion, the whole reason we are even here, the point of life, is to learn. It's to learn and grow, if we choose to accept the challenge, right? And love, and we have love. Learning to open our hearts more. Yeah, pain and difficulty happen, but it's not meant to shut us down. It's meant to break our hearts open more. And that can often happen, especially, you think about like, I don't know, like a big disaster that happens. Oftentimes communities come together to help each other. It actually creates a lot more compassion that goes along with that love, because we realize what's truly important. So there's something about coming together in love and harmony. And yes, we have our differences, but honoring those, because we all bring something different to the table. And when we can uplift one another, there's, no stopping us. I hear crying. I hear a kitty. Hang on. Okay, all is well. I thought I had locked her in the bathroom, but no, I had left the door open. She was just making sounds, as she does sometimes. That was my quiet one. She's not quite as loud as Kitty. Anyway, lots of talking. This is still part of the reading. This message really needed to come through. So let's dive into the cards. Just grab the wisdom of the oracle. New life in reverse, 39. Oh, mending in reverse, 52. Why, 31. So, with the theme of what I was talking about, we have, basically, we have something here. We have this can be people leaving our lives, like I was saying, structures crumbling, things, foundations crumbling is a better way to say it, because there's an inability to begin, because of something that needs to be processed and worked through, some kind of heartbreak. And seeing, it's very much about seeing the lesson in the pain, in the heartache, because, and that's why is here, the why card, because there's a big lesson here. And this is what's happening right now for a lot of people, is things are starting to fall away, and there's a resistance to that, because we are creatures of habit. We want what we want. And when things start to dissolve or crumble, break away, it's like, it can often be like it forces us to, see, how do I say that? It forces us to look at things that haven't necessarily been working for us, but we're so good at like bypassing, again, with like not just spiritual bypassing, but like we can turn a blind eye really easily if there's something that we're meant to face or let go of, and we really really don't want to because we are very invested in having that thing in our life or that person or whatever. But in order to get to this, get to this place of harmony, we gotta look at the things that make us uncomfortable, or we will implode in a way. Yeah, Charlie it's so funny. She doesn't normally make sounds, but I can hear her distantly in the background. It's like, yeah, um, pay attention to that little voice, that little quiet voice that is like, hey, something's wrong. we need to find resolution somehow. Ooh, there's another word, resolution. Revolution, there's another one with the Mercury retrograde thing. So I'm gonna go with Heart's Hidden Secrets. Just saw 11:22 on the timer. Boundaries. No, drawing the line, enough. Ooh, there are some boundaries being set, or you being asked to set some boundaries here. Abandoned, left out, walked away cold. Yep, setting boundaries and walking away. Walking away from something that's heartbreaking. Needing to let something go. That's the whole point of this why. Only you, devoted, attached, and crave. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about a specific person here, I feel. You're gonna know who that is. Someone that you were very devoted and attached to is being abandoned. You're abandoning them, they're abandoning you. It's painful. It doesn't feel good, but it's supposed to happen because there were some issues with boundaries, have been. That's why this is happening, because there's a reckoning. Ooh, there's another word. Okay, let's check out the tea leaf oracle. Rooster. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. That you have to actually set some boundaries with. Sometimes you gotta cross a person. Boastful and arrogant, it's like, it's the idea that if you cross them, then there will be hell to pay. There are consequences. But sometimes you got to do it because you just have to. It's like, I'm no longer, drawing the line. I'm no longer going to put up with this nonsense. Oh, that's why New Life is here as well. In reverse, because maybe there's been some kind of thought like, oh, maybe we can revisit this. Maybe we can come back around. We're just taking time in our separate corners and then we'll come back again. And this is kind of saying like, it's not good. It's this dynamic isn't good for either of you. Hat, you will be playing a different role. Yeah. You're not putting up with somebody's nonsense anymore. Your role now is to follow your own counsel rather than getting bullied or I don't know, pushed around or it's yeah. Typically boastful, arrogant people are kind of bullies. Especially that you shouldn't cross. Yeah. And you're kind of like there's a little bit of a like, oh, really? No. No. This isn't who I am anymore. Or this is what you're kind of coming to maybe? Mice. Discord among friends or family. Yep. Okay. I don't think I need to speak on that. This is all just, yeah, it's all very in line. So, hey, let's go over to the Osho Zen Tarot. I would not be surprised if the Mind card came out. Well, first one out, laziness. This guy keeps showing up. Has been showing up for weeks now. This is the Nine of Water. Let me just get the other ones. Laziness. Adventure. This is the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, that's awesome. And I love that I said adventure in the beginning. It is one of my favorite words. And the Creator, said in Marvin the Martian's voice. King of Fire. King of Fire. Oh, and I was thinking about this the other day, that I talk about how I think of this guy as the inspired leader. Also, and I haven't said this in a while, this is my hell yes guy. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. It's a big fat no. And so what I'm seeing here is this could be an energy that you've been in, where something uncomfortable has been poking you in the back, and there's been a lot of ignoring, and then realizing, coming to this place of understanding, like, this is not comfortable. This kind of hurts. Actually, I don't want to sit here trying to pretend that everything's fine when it's not. Trying to pretend everything's fine when it's not. Arrogant, boastful person. Discord. And so with the boundary setting, it's basically like getting up. It's being like, okay, I'm going to leave behind my comfy little, comfort zone, with my pillow and my slippers and my little drink. And I'm going to drop it all, and I'm just going to go. It's just me and myself, and I'm going to head off into a whole new direction. This is your new role. There's like it's a child here, so it's like being in beginner's mind. You're playing a new role. You don't even know what exactly it looks like. And the adventure, just like I was saying in the beginning, this is all about leaning forward with curiosity. This is shrinking back in fear. This is pretending, because underneath this laziness is fear. It's fear of dealing with the issue. And so it's covering up with all the, kind of immediate gratification kind of things. And this is like, okay, let's lean in with curiosity. Let's see what's over the hill, or over the horizon, or what's ahead, what's around the next corner. And then with the rainbow here. And in this adventure, you could be coming across this. It could also be somebody that you've been dealing with, and you're walking away. You're like, oh, I don't want to be around people in this energy, because ultimately they're just going to hold me back, and I just want to go. And so you might be meeting someone on your journey who is in this energy, this inspired leader, this hell yes guy. Doesn't have to be a guy, by the way. This is just energy. We all have masculine and feminine. Feel obligated to say that every time. But also, I feel like this is you meeting yourself. This is you moving into, this is a part of the adventure, is kind of really taking your power back by setting those boundaries, by abandoning this kind of energy, and realizing that whoever you've devoted yourself to, you have, to a certain extent, left it's like you abandon a part of yourself. And so now this is you refusing to abandon yourself anymore. And so in this, there's a glow up, right? There's almost a literal glow up. To say almost, because well, literal. Anyway, yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where you're gonna maybe come across somebody who is able to emulate this for you, and it gives you a blueprint, some kind of like a structure from which to, or an outline maybe, that helps you to understand how better to be in this energy yourself. We're all brought together with different types of people because we are meant to learn. And this discord with this arrogant, boastful person, probably this person has been one of your greatest teachers. And so there's something about like really recognizing the benefit of that, the appreciating what this person brought, because that experience kind of boosted you. And I just saw 2111 on the timer. It's you working through the wounds so that you can rise up and then be the healer to help others, right? Whew. There's a lot of big energy here. It's like I can't talk fast enough. I'm reaching for my Voyager tarot, kind of going along with the adventure theme. Five of Crystals, negativity. Eight of Wands, harmony. We have harmony twice. This came up in another reading I did recently, and the song Sweet Harmony always comes to mind, which is a very sweet song. Let's come together. I'm not going to sing it. Let's come together right now. Oh yeah, in sweet harmony. And it's a song about like very much like what I've been talking about. Anyway, we have Moon. This is Pisces energy, also Cancerian. Here's the, let's see. This kind of, let's see. How do I, negativity and harmony, these kind of disparate energies that are meant to be integrated. And so there's this kind of, here's the unknown. This is where things are kind of, things can be distorted. Things can be hidden. The moon also represents fear, but also emotions and intuition. Really learning to listen to yourself, to trust yourself. Because you know what's best for you. But it's also keeping the group in mind. We just had the new moon solar eclipse last week, and that was in Aquarius. And Aquarius, I was just saying this to a friend, that Aquarius is such an interesting energy because it's all about like, on one hand, it's kind of looking at humanity as a whole. Aquarius is often the humanitarian, and also it's about individuality. It's about kind of flying your freak flag. It's really, it's recognizing that yes, we are all the same, but we are also all different, and our differences are what create the kind of, it makes me think of like a coloring book. You have the outline, but then we all come in and we fill in the different colors. And if it's just one color, in the whole picture. Isn't that kind of boring? Like the picture looks better when we have different colors that we put into it. So the negativity, it's like not ignoring the negativity, it's looking at the negativity. It's saying, okay, I feel negative about this arrogant, boastful person, or I feel negative about what's been happening to me that I've been trying to ignore. And it's like recognizing, oh, in order to come to a place of peace and harmony within my life, within myself, within, all the things, I need to pay attention to the negative mindset that might be ultimately holding me back, because it's fear that creates that negativity, and it's not meant to be ignored. It's very, very important here. We gotta stop putting our head in the sand, because we are 3D we are 3D beings. We are, the saying goes, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so really like leaning into that, embracing that. So just breathe. So it's okay. Going with this one, numerology deck. Individuality, there it is. It's hilarious because I actually thought of this card as I was talking about that whole Aquarian thing. It's like we are all the same and yet we are all different, and there's a point. That's that, we're meant to embrace who we are. We're not meant to conform to become a sheep and try to follow the other sheep and blend in. We're meant to stand out, and that's what we're being called to do right now. To actually, embrace and love exactly who we are. And it's okay if we don't fit in. It's okay if we don't, we're not accepted by all. We're not supposed to be. I heard somebody say not too long ago, like, if everyone likes you, then you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Naturally, when we show up as ourselves, there are going to be others who they have a reaction to it, right? Effort, 13. Yeah. Why? Both of these break down to a 4. Putting in the effort. Okay, so what are you putting your effort into? Are you putting your effort into trying to pad your comfort zone even though it's quite uncomfortable? Or do you put your effort into doing something that is going to help you grow and expand your mind, expand your heart? You get to choose. Oh, and it makes me think of one of my favorite quotes that I was thinking about this morning as I was getting dressed, that it says, what you are not changing, you are choosing. Read that again. Of course you're reading it, but what you are not changing, you are choosing. So if you're uncomfortable and you're not changing it, you are actively choosing it. You can pretend like it's not there, but it's still a choice. And self-love, 61. It breaks down to a 7. So does this mending. I love this because this is really tapping into that self-love. You know, when I talked about abandoning yourself previously, and it could have been, in a lot of different relationships, in a lot of different ways. We're often taught to self-abandon. in favor of the group or the other, right? And this is really recognizing like the only true way is to bring it back to yourself. And sometimes that means letting go of what isn't serving anymore. So loving the self, loving who you are. There's nobody like you in the world. There never has been, there never will be. And really embracing that. And it takes effort, because we're social beings. We don't want to be ostracized from the group. We don't want to be left out. This is very much like self-protection. But the energies are shifting in such a way that isn't protective anymore. It just harms more than it helps. And so the self-love combined with this individuality is like, or maybe better to say with the effort of loving the self exactly as you are, is that's what's up for review. There's another word. This is a big theme for this Mercury retrograde, for a lot of us. So, I feel like I want to just keep pulling cards, but I feel like the message is very, very clear here. I want to get some Moonology cards. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. Yep. That's what's happening. Facing those fears head on, working through them, being like, okay, yeah. And that's the thing about this energy, is there's still fear there. It's not like, the fear goes away necessarily. Fear is actually important in keeping us alive. But it's not letting fear stop you. And it's remembering the acronym false evidence appearing real, right? It's an illusion. And so it's saying, oh, what am I afraid of? Really looking at that and being like, okay, well, what I'm looking at here is a construct of what has come before. Fear comes from, it's a learned thing. And so saying, okay, well, I'm going to put that in my pocket to help keep me safe, but I'm also not going to let it stop me. Awesome. Don't let pride get in your way. Full moon in Leo. This is very prideful energy. This laziness. Don't let pride stop you. Going on this adventure, being in beginner mind, it's uncomfortable because, we don't like to seem dumb, like we don't know what we're doing. But that's the whole point, is embracing like the unknown and like, I've never done this before. I'm going to mess up sometimes, and that's okay. I just thought, no, I didn't. I thought it was 3333, but that is coming up right now. Your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. I love it. Your hard work is paying off because of keeping in mind the most important things. Love, harmony, also compassion, also gratitude. And because I said it, I got to pick a gratitude card. Let us be grateful to the people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Marcel Proust? I think it's Proust. Proust. Let us be grateful for the people who make us happy. Although I would venture to say no one can make us anything. I've said this before. We are in charge of our own happiness. But, the idea that we want people around us who uplift us, that we feel like we belong with, not who we feel like we have to fit in with. This energy This was like a, you must conform, you must do what I say. And it's like, no, no, actually, that's your opinion. And so it's really leaning toward those that are like, oh yeah, how you show up. I love how you show up. You're awesome just the way you are. I don't want you to be any different, because then you wouldn't be you, right? Oh, okay. So let me finish. I'm gonna finish with a rune card. Isa. Yes. Feeling stuck in traffic. it's like, well, you know, part of this is flexing that patience muscle, but it's also like, you know, is there a side road I can take? Is there a way to bypass? Is there a way to, you know, sometimes we can't get out of the traffic jam, but eventually it will pass. Eventually things will start moving again. What else about Isa? I have to find it. Okay. Isa. This card is associated with ice and frozen water and generally indicates a blockage, standstill, or lack of action in some area of your life. Yeah, getting called out. Don't worry, me too. You know, I know very acutely that all the messages that I do, everything that comes out of my mouth is meant for me as well. So let's all be humbled together, shall we? This could be a loss of physical energy or a mental fog or psychological block that paralyzes you. This stasis will likely cause frustrating delays in your life. And that is all about Mercury retrograde, right? But instead of fighting the obstacle, the card advises you to stay calm and conserve your energy, aka flex that patience muscle. Sometimes there's nothing you can do but wait for a change in circumstances. Bide your time because the ice will melt. As far as relationships are concerned, this card points to icy tension and possible conflict that feels like it cannot be resolved. Yep. There is an urgent need for objectivity and concentration right now. You need to decide whether you're going to invest any more of your warmth and energy into a certain relationship to see if the ice will thaw, or if it is time to gently and calmly let it drift away. You get to decide, but based on what's come out here, this is really about letting something move along. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next video. Mwah.